I'm Mike.
And I'm Matt.
And this is The Coin Show.
Ooh, that was a close one.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were with me.
I'm clicking 8 buttons at a time over here. Whew.
You know what I didn't do? On this episode of The Coin Show, we're going to answer at least one listener question.
I like it.
Because that was all I saw we had. And we'll talk about the coolest thing that walked into Matt's shop this week. But first, as always, the news.
Who's the news brought to you by, Mike?
See me looking around my desktop?
I thought you'd have one.
Now, you know what? Usually I do, but today I don't. So, let's see. Well, first off, you know who the news is always brought to us by.
That's right.
That's right. Important people.
Crickets!
Yes.
The news is brought to you by crickets.
Yeah, that would be my text tone for you.
Oh, hey.
So, cool. Why don't you give me a link? And that'd be really cool. We could do that. Did you know that patrons of The Coin Show get access to exclusive content available only through Patreon.com? It's true. Don't miss out on the fun. Become a patron of The Coin Show at www.patreon.com/TheCoinShow. The news this week is brought to you by flashlights.
Oh.
When walking around the dark is not acceptable. Flashlights.
I like that one.
So, Matt, PCGS has crossed over an $1835 proof half eagle,
Ooh.
large D, from another unnamed grading service. Now, there are only 3 of these coins known to exist. One resides in the Durham Museum in Nebraska, and the other example has passed through a few fairly famous hands, including Louis Eliasberg, Byron Reed, and good old Jed Clampett himself, Buddy Ebsen. Yeah, that's right.
Really?
So possibly, yes, absolutely. So possibly the most amazing fact about this coin is that it was once bought by Virgil Brand in 1906 for $30.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, Buddy Ebsen was a very prolific coin collector. He was known for it in his time. He is known for saying that coins are loaded with history. When you hold something made 600 years before Jesus was born, you think of all the people who touched it over the years. That's what makes coin collecting an exciting growth experience.
Right. Sure. I mean, that's super cool.
Yeah. Now, I wouldn't expect him to use the term growth experience, but, you never really know these actors, do you?
Some people use weird terms in coin collecting, I'll tell you.
Well, and they're usually smarter than you think. Because that's what they do, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, unique in proof, this coin has been sought after and was recently purchased at the 2019 World's Fair money for just over $300,000. PCGS actually downgraded the coin from proof 63 to proof 62. So I really do wonder whose holder it was in.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure you could probably tell me because you have auction results kind of handy. But according to the coinupdate.com article, the 1830 large D half eagle is a unique rarity on par with other famous elusive early gold coinage, such as the legendary 1822 half eagle. The 1822 is a coin with a reported mintage of almost 18,000 coins, but only 3 known specimens, just one of which resides in private hands. And like the legendary 1822 half eagle, a coin whose only privately owned specimen has graced the famous cabinets of Virgil Brand, Eliasberg, Brett Pogue. That's kind of the hidden bonus that you get when you buy these coins is that, they've all been owned by these famous people, right, because there's only one out there to own. So, there's a reason, according to the coinupdate.com article, there's a reason that many coin collectors seek not just rare early proof half eagles, but all pre-1933 $5 gold coinage in general. Half eagles are a cornerstone of high-end coin collections, and in part because, they represent one of the only gold denominations struck by the United States Mint year in and year out. So unlike quarter eagles and double eagles, double eagles coming out as late as 1850, the half eagle was produced almost every year since its inception in 1795, right up to the early 1930s when the last circulating United States gold coinage was struck. So collectors with deep pockets and a desire to build a large set of gold coins can potentially assemble a collection spanning more than 130 years by building a comprehensive run of half eagles.
Wow, very thorough breakdown of that news story. I like it.
Well, I mean, that was just quoting the story.
Oh,
that was coinupdate.com and what they were saying about it. But I like what they say about this coin and the fact that, it's very much like the 1822 in that, the mintage was larger than thought, but there are only 3 known. Right. And, that the one that's known to exist passes through all these hands. And, to be honest with you, I've been reporting on this stuff now for almost 10 years. And I never really thought about the fact that if you want to own a unique coin, chances are Louis Eliasberg owned it.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of very famous coins they have pedigrees go back 100 years. A lot of them, so
easily, yeah. And some further.
Yep.
An undated seated Liberty $half error was sold for an incredible $51,754.
I saw this coin. This is cool.
The coin struck at the San Francisco Mint was struck on a quarter planchet, and because of the smaller planchet, the entire coin was not struck. The coin is missing the date, but clearly shows an S mint mark. So, in fact, so clearly it shows the mint mark that, in fact, experts have been able to identify the coin as being struck between 1870 and 1875 due to the style of the S.
Cool.
So NGC has certified and graded the coin as AU50, which I think is really conservative if you look at the coin. I mean, I don't see wear or marks. I don't understand that grade at all.
Well, I don't see... The one thing I don't see is luster. So maybe they not graded it.
But luster... I was going to say, because luster would really kind of disqualify it from AU at all.
No, I mean, AU coin should have luster, but... This coin I don't see much, so while it has a lot of meat, I'm guessing that it's maybe not very lustrous, and that's why it just got the 50.
I don't know. I mean, I see 50 as a baggy coin. That's what 50 should be.
Yeah, but it can be other things.
Well, I just never really think of the subgrades. I think of them more as having to do with marks generally, but you're right. It could.
And when it comes to error coins, it doesn't really.
Right.
The grade is kind of just an afterthought, anyway.
And as we've talked about many times, the grades are really more a way of valuing the coin. It's kind of giving you an idea of what the market would do with it.
Right.
So
error coins are a whole different can of worms when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, and much harder to price.
Right.
In more recent U.S. Mint news, the 2019 Mint set sales have surpassed the 2018 Mint set sales.
Okay, well, that's what you get a bonus penny in there. You're going to get some extra sales.
In my opinion, this isn't saying very much, though, because the 2018 Mint set is still available and has sold a dismal 253,000 units. That's it.
Wow.
So the 2019 set has sold nearly 259,000 units thus far. Both years still remain towards the bottom of the mintage numbers for mint sets historically, though.
Right.
And as you had commented, I believe you're right, that this is being driven by the W Mint Lincoln Cents being packaged with the collector sets this year. And I think that the evidence supports it. Because if you look at our next story, the top 3 selling products from the U.S. Mint for week ending 9/29 are 2019 Proof Set, 2019 Silver Proof Set, 2019 Mint Set.
Yeah.
All 3 feature one of the special Lincoln Cents.
Yep.
So this for me is that's a no-brainer analysis. Then again, my analysis echoes my buying behavior.
Right.
The Silver Proof Set sales are about to surpass last year's sales, but it's going to take a bit yet for the Proof Set to catch up to last year's total of 510,000. It should also be noted that that all Mint Proof Sets that don't include the extra set have lagged behind last year's numbers and continued the downward trend in popularity. Yeah. So, the silver quarter sets. I personally thought that the composition change itself would drive sales, but it seems not.
Yeah, well, Yeah, I think that went very unnoticed by the general collecting community, in my
I think
opinion.
so. Yeah, I think only your hardcore collectors really knew about it or paid attention to it.
Yep.
The United States Mint will offer the 2019 limited edition silver proof set October 17th. Now, this set only includes the denomination struck in silver, so none of the pesky nickels or pennies are included in this set.
Pesky coins.
It's like, why do you want the off-metal stuff anyway? It's a limited edition silver proof set. So it's an interesting set to me, as all the coins in this set, this one, the first time, are 999 silver.
Right.
From the dime to the silver eagle, making it a very unique offering. Now, next year it will no longer be unique, but who knows? They may not make this set next year. We'll see. The coins are no bargain as a bullion play. I mean, the set sells for a $149.95 and contains approximately 2.5 ounces of silver. So,
yeah,
the proof silver eagle, as do the rest of the coins in this set, bears an S Mint mark. And the set is, as the name suggests, limited to only 50,000 sets. But there are no unique coins in this set. So, I mean, other than the packaging, there's no real need to buy one.
Right. Unless you just want some fancy packaging.
And see. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, that's all you're going to get out of this one is just some nice packaging and everything all in one place. But the S Mint proof silver eagle you can buy easily,
Right. Weird.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's a weird set. Again, kind of doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, it's just another one of those repeated products that they put out in hopes that, one, the people that buy one of everything that comes from the Mint will latch onto one, and two, that maybe this configuration of it will wake up some dormant, population of people needing to buy coins.
God, I hope that's not true.
The zombies' brains. The Christa McAuliffe Commemorative Coin Act has been sent to the president for his signature.
Cool.
It authorizes the U.S. Mint to coin 350,000 silver dollars in at least 90% silver for the first year, or for the year 2021. There is no provision for gold coins, but thankfully, that also gives us no provision for clad half dollars either. Finally,
my favorite
one right.
Yeah, no joke.
Now, let's see. It was Coin Week that reported this, and they reported that they were going to be 90%. I looked at the legislation. The legislation actually says at least 90%. So, I thought, oh, wow, they're going to make another 90% coin. No, they're going to be made 999, just like the rest. The coins mark the 35th anniversary of the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster. All surcharges will be paid to First Robotics, a program designed to inspire young people to be science and technology leaders and innovators by engaging them in exciting mentor-based programs to build science, engineering, and technology skills, according to the group's founder, Dean Kamen.
Cool.
So McAuliffe was a high school social studies teacher, and it's now been, long enough ago that I don't even know. You don't remember it because you were a little kid.
I remember it.
Okay.
It's one of the first major events I remember happening when I was a little kid, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the whole idea with the Teacher in Space program was that she was going to participate in the mission and upon her return teach us all about her experiences. And sadly, she was never able to complete her mission. That's something that I think was a loss for everybody.
Right.
And I that the nation really mourned her death more than any of the other crew members of that mission, sadly. But it was because she became a national figure.
Well, she wasn't an astronaut per se. She was a teacher that became trained to be an astronaut and got to go. So
yes, she became a mission specialist.
Right.
Now, in other space coin news, the 5-ounce Apollo 11 hockey puck is still available and may be for quite some time.
Oh boy.
Yeah. 100,000 coins have been authorized, and as was correctly pointed out by Numismatic News, of the 65,000 sold, over 51,000 of those were sold on the first day.
Right.
So to say that demand has died down a bit would be an understatement. But it remains a very cool coin.
Well, if you read the very last line of the story, it says the coins will go on sale December 31st, 2019. So it's like they're they're clearancing them out, almost. You know?
Well, you have to wonder though, because if they say go on sale, I don't think they mean
I'm
as
sorry.
a.
I read it wrong. I said go off sale, so my fault.
Oh,
I was
okay.
going to say, that seems like
Yeah,
a weird...
Yeah. So what are they going to do? Melt the rest?
Probably.
No, some bulk dealer will end up buying them. You know how that works.
Maybe. Yeah.
They'll be rare.
God, don't get me started.
So, anyways, it remains a very cool coin, but at $229.95 for a 5-ounce coin, I think I'll have to pass.
Hard pass.
Yeah. Speaking of hard pass, Coin Update is reporting that the U.S. Mint will launch the 2019 American Innovation $1 proof coin set on October 11th.
Okay.
That was, like I said, speaking of hard pass. I had forgotten that the creation of these coins meant an automatic standalone proof set.
Oh, of course it does.
Really, seriously.
Come on, dude. You should know this by now.
No, I know the program. It just, I kind of let it go. I forgotten about it. So, yeah, 4 proof $1 coins for $20.95. Can you feel the collective heavy sigh?
I like it.
4 coins for $21. Come on, really?
But they're proof, man.
Yeah. Proof that people will buy anything.
I like it. That was a good joke.
Thank you. The Citizens Coinage Advisory Committee met September 18th to discuss the designs for the 2020 coins, and I decided to share some of the proposed designs for the Massachusetts coin.
Okay, let's see.
So I figured this was one that we could all look at. The one that they have with the basketball in the headline, I thought was like the final design. It looks kind of nuclear.
It does. It's like a radiated basketball.
But
it's a basketball hoop. Okay, I see it. I got it.
You're looking from directly underneath the net.
Yes.
And a ball is coming through the net right at you, or directly above the net looking down. It's hard to tell perspective. Actually, you're above, because that's where the coils are. They're underneath the rim. So, that said,
let's take a look at some of these.
If you go to mintnewsblog.com, you can look at all of the different proposed designs for the 2020 coins. So that's Massachusetts. Who else is it? It's it's Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island,
Maryland, and South Carolina.
Oh, Maryland and South Carolina. That's right. So, so you can see the proposed designs. There's the basketball design, which I think is, although it was invented in Massachusetts by James Naismith, I get it. There's already a basketball Hall of Fame commemorative coming out.
Right.
And I think it's going to kind of celebrate this whole thing and look like that.
Yeah.
The next one underneath it is the telephone.
The rotary phone.
Well, was it the rotary phone or was it the invention of the telephone in general? Did Alexander Graham Bell do his work in,
I don't know. But
Massachusetts?
tele-phone.
Oh, yeah. No. It was patent number 174465, because there's a couple of different different telephone designs.
I like the next one because it actually shows, what the early telephone looks like instead of a rotary dial that was.
Yes, absolutely. And this is what one of the very first telephones looked like. That's from the patent. And then the one underneath that shows a slightly more.
Hold up. Is that an iPhone?
Well,
Is that a smartphone on a coin?
It is a smartphone. It's got an early phone and then a smartphone.
Don't do it. Don't.
Showing you where it came from and
I will
where we've
disavow any purchase of modern American coinage if we have a smartphone as a design on one of our coins.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Because I don't think we've ever taken this radically different opinions on things before, but the smartphone might be the greatest invention of either of our lifetimes.
I don't disagree with you, but I don't want it on my coins.
Was it developed in Massachusetts?
Who knows? The regular telephone was, but I'm sure that the iPhone wasn't. It was developed in California. Yeah. Haven't you ever gotten the box? Yeah.
And then there's the next design after that.
It's like E.T. and his friends got together and are fixing paper cuts.
To be honest with you, it looks like a Bactine commercial. Um, I'm really not sure what they're doing.
Is that a cell phone tower? That's a cell phone tower.
There is a cell phone tower in the
Nope.
background.
Hard pass.
Okay, I get that. It shows off the cell phone tower, but I'm still wondering what they're pointing at.
Each other. No, you farted. No, you farted. No.
That's what I think it is. They're passing the buck around.
Yeah, that's it.
And then there's a couple more basketball designs.
That one with the hands is kind of cool. The hands look, if they could get those to actually translate onto a coin, would be kind of cool. But again,
yeah, the relief is going to be tough though, because
Right.
it's like it's not going to strike very well.
Right.
And look at the lack of balance in the design.
right. I'm not really impressed with any of these.
No, I mean honestly, the one I think I like the most is the dial telephone.
I don't like the dial. Oh my god! Look at MA14.
You never used a dial telephone, did
Oh
you?
yeah, sure I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at MA14, the very very bottom one.
Jeez, there's more.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch.
There's like 15 different basketball ones.
Look at this.
Oh, there you go.
That's my favorite.
Now we're talking.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Phi Slamma Jamma.
Massachusetts slam dunkers. Nope.
You know what though? The coin has balance at least.
I pass. Hard pass on all those. Those are all terrible. Don't make them. They're
Well,
terrible.
Guess what? Here's the problem. The CCAC is going to pick one of these designs.
Well, the CCAC should veto all those designs and find something better because those are all terrible. Terrible designs. Serious. There's so many other. I mean, there's so many other innovations that I'm sure happened in Massachusetts. American innovations.
Massachusetts is one of the original, 13. So I'd imagine that a lot of things have happened over the course of the intervening 250 years.
Yeah. Nope.
Just more history. There's got to be more.
It seems
there.
like they've settled on either basketball or the telephone, and I think both of those are hard passes for me. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're trying to go with their most significant, which the game of basketball, it's become a worldwide game. I get that it was invented. Sure. And your whole dissociation with the cell phones, but the telephone, it just seems to be, I don't know.
If I had to pick one, it would be number 2, the one with the old timey telephone and the patent number. That one is makes me the least angry out of all these designs.
Well, I'll tell you what, it at least has balance.
Right.
It looks like it would strike okay, and yeah, it's very true to the original patent.
Right. I mean, the rest of them are just terrible, 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 terrible. Cell
And I
phone
think
towers and smartphones. Get out
I think
of there.
that sticks to the spirit of what they want these coins to be.
Right. That was the telephone that was invented when the telephone was invented, not a smartphone or a cell phone tower. So get that junk out of my face.
Well, you do realize at the end of the day, these are going to be dollar coins, right?
I get it. Nobody's ever going to use them, and I doubt anybody's ever going to see them. But I still want to rail on some modern
And point
stuff.
that out. I mean, it's like we're looking at design candidates for coins that we really don't need.
Hey, I haven't railed on anything modern lately. All right, so
No, actually, you've been quite generous lately.
I know. Give me a break
Ever since the Canadian U.S. Mint commemorative set.
Right. Give me a break. I haven't railed on modern stuff in a long time. So
Yeah, you've definitely called it off for a little bit.
and now I'm back.
But all of this leads to me railing on something,
Oh, buddy.
which is a CoinNews.net article that counts our current inventories of $1 U.S. coins and over 1.1 billion coins.
Oh, that's
According to
horrible.
current usage trends, we order about 4 million $1 coins a month, which to me is astounding because I really didn't think we used that many of them, but still believable. But at that rate, we currently have enough coins warehoused to last us a couple of decades.
But why not make more? Let's start a new program.
Well, see, here's the thing. Most of these coins are presidential dollar coins, not surprisingly.
Or Sacagaweas. And
No, most of them are presidential dollar coins
Well, yeah,
because they made them at a 4-to-1 ratio to the Sacagaweas. So they mercifully stopped making them for circulation a few years in. But the storage situation for dollar coins had the Fed thinking about adding storage facilities instead of thinking about ways to make dollar coins relevant.
That doesn't make much sense. That's government work for you, buddy.
I mean, seriously, it's like we've got this whole look. We've now gotten to the point where we've realized, okay, coins good, right?
Mm-hmm.
All kinds of different designs, really good. The more coins we make, the more designs we make, the better off we are because of all this seigniorage. They're on board with it. That's a great thing. But now you've got to let's see, how long have we been creating these coins? We've been minting these coins now pretty uselessly for at least 15 years and almost 20.
Yeah.
Right? And we don't need them, so we just warehouse them.
Mm-hmm.
And you're thinking about renting more buildings to put them in?
Yeah, that's government efficiency for you, right there, buddy. It's ridiculous. It's horrendous. It makes about as much sense as a poopy flavored lollipop.
There are people pay good money for those. So, yeah. So, but I mean, that's just kind of my thing. Is that they are apparently really locked into this whole idea of we're going to make all these different programs and we're going to put them out there because the seigniorage element is fantastic. I get that.
Yeah.
But it's really as simple as killing the dollar bill.
Sure. Oh yeah, that solves your problem. Like that.
And suddenly you won't have to warehouse these coins. You'll actually have a need for them in circulation.
Yep.
But that's just me. And finally, in the news, the Philippine Mint is being relocated due to increasing demand for money, both paper and coin, but mostly paper money.
Huh.
So they're going to build a new facility. So this is, I like the name of the article. Numismatic News says a new mint is born, and I keep on thinking about Evergreen and the Star is born. But the new facility is going to take 2 years to construct. It is going to be able to produce 5 billion notes a year, which is an increase of over 60% beyond the current production, and will alleviate the need to outsource the production of these notes, which has been necessary as of late.
Huh.
So the Philippines weren't able to create all of the currency and money that they needed, so now they're going to move to a bigger facility. So coinage will also be made at the new facility, and I wonder if while they're building a brand new facility, that they don't make enough room to start processing or producing bullion coins.
Right.
As the countries that have done so have reaped big profits selling the coins on the open market, I see that as a huge boost for the Philippine economy.
It's definitely intriguing. I mean, I wouldn't see why they wouldn't, but I mean,
yeah,
I'm also not in the industry of minting and production of coinage, so.
No, but if you look, you've got the Perth Mint down there, you've got the Australian Mint, and most of these are not legal tender coins. I'm just talking about producing bullion.
Right.
China
producing pandas.
Yep. Yeah, there's tons of them out there. So I thought that would be a really cool idea for them.
I don't hate the idea. We'll see what happens.
Well, good. You don't hate it. That's great.
Yeah.
So this week's news was brought to you by flashlights. When you don't want to walk around in the dark.
It's a good one. I like that. Yeah. Was that yours? Did you think of that one?
It's just spur of the moment. It wasn't quite as good as my comeback to you on the proof.
Yeah.
As proof people buy anything. I like that. That might have been one of my finest lines ever.
I don't doubt your genius when it comes to quips, Mike. For sure.
Let's see. So you said we have listener questions.
Yep, I tagged you in the post.
Okay, let me take a look.
Go to facebook.com.
Fotchbook? All right, let me see. Fotchbook.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah, because Faith's in Italian is Fotch. It's just...
That's Nodelman's an Italian name?
No. I just worked with Italians for a long time.
Oh, that's right. You're from Chicago, I forget.
Yeah.
You have a lot of Italians up there.
Well, the grocery business seemingly is owned by the Italians. I don't know why.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I don't know why. I really don't. It just seems like, whatever. All right, so let's see. So we've got some listener questions, and we're going to start right off with Andrew Pitcher.
Knock it out.
Would like to hear about why there are different grading standards for coins of the same series.
Okay.
Example, 1916D Mercury. Why can't it just be the same to make it easier?
That's a simple question, really, because not all dates and mint marks were struck the same. Different mints have different production qualities, and so that's just as simple as there is to it. You have like I always give this example of Morgan dollars just because it's the place to see it the easiest. But if you compare an O mint to a Philadelphia mint to a San Francisco mint Morgan silver dollar, you'll notice distinct differences, and that's just from how they were produced.
The O mints are going to tend to be a little bit mushier struck. The Philadelphias are going to be very crisply struck, and the San Franciscos, at least the early San Franciscos, they changed out those reverse dies a lot.
They changed out those dies a lot, so you see a lot of proof-like.
You see a lot of proof-like coins in S mints.
And that's just a matter, and even production at the mints changed throughout the year. You have, for example, the early Lincoln cents versus the Lincoln cents in the 30s. You see a lot of coins in the teens and 20s that have really nice satiny, surfaces, and then as they get into the 30s and 40s, they just turned into kind of lustrous coins, but not really satiny. They were much smoother, and that's just simply from minor production changes at the different mints and over time. So that answers the question.
And I think one of the better examples too is also the 1922 Lincoln cent. I think that's a great example in the fact that you obviously cannot grade that coin by its obverse.
Right.
And it's just because the die was so overused. So it's the perfect example. You graded 22D Lincoln cent by the reverse. That's where the dies were fresher. That will actually tell you the state of state of.
Well, you couldn't grade a 22D Lincoln cent the same way you grade a 1958D Lincoln cent. It's just not possible.
No.
And they're made in the same mint. So
right. So that's why. Let's see. Sean Partner. What are your opinions on the GENI holders from France and the standard holders from the TPG here in the US? I like them better because they make you look at the coin first instead of focusing on the label. And when they're stacked or in a box, you can see the coin names and grades right down the tops.
Never seen one.
I haven't either. Sorry, bad question. Jim Fantasia. But thanks for writing, Sean. We appreciate that. Maybe you can maybe you can show us a couple of examples, and then we can give you some opinions.
Yeah.
Jim Fantasia, more of a question for Mike. With this new Innovation Coin Series, unlike the previous Golden Dollar programs, they are excluding them from normal mint and proof sets and releasing them by themselves, and now issuing reverse proofs of each release. Is this simply a mint cash grab, or they're them attempting to make these more special than other Golden Dollar programs? Thanks, and keep up the great podcasts.
3 words for you: mint cash grab.
Yeah, I think that's about as accurate as it gets. The reason that I think they're keeping them out of the mint sets is to keep the cost of the mint sets down. They don't want to go back to a $20-some mint set.
Or to get you to have to order a different set and pay more for fancy packaging.
Absolutely. And as far as the reverse proofs and stuff like that, I celebrate the fact that the mint will, make these different types of coins, that they'll make stuff with different finishes and make it available to people in different venues. What I maybe appreciate less is the seeming lack of coherent strategy with it, that it seems to bounce all over the place. Like, for example, if you look at the presidential dollar coin set, you have coins in that set that are you have ones that have matte finish,
right?
You have ones that have a reverse proof finish. You have ones that have a regular proof finish. You have, there's just all kinds of them, and it isn't from one end of the series to the other. It's this was made this way these years, and that was made this way these years, and you can buy these, and these are only available for circulation. It's just stuff like that.
Yeah, I quit caring about that stuff a while ago.
Well, I was one of these guys that actually was interested in the early 90s in like the Jefferson Coin and Currency set. I was interested in the Botanic Garden set. And the reason that I was interested in those coins was because they featured matte proof nickels in there. It was a different finish. It was something that wasn't being done, and the detail on the coins was just absolutely spectacular.
And it was the only way you can get them in that
Right.
particular set. And now it's
And
like,
they were amazingly expensive. And to be honest with you, they've come back down. So it's like the 94, the Jefferson, I forget what it's the Jefferson Coin and Currency set. You know, that one actually is really affordable. You could pick up that coin and currency set for like $30.
yeah. But, you know, it was, that's the thing that was back in those sets. That was the only way you could get them. And now it's like, okay, you can get them in, you know, this set here or this set here, or we're not going to put them in this set anymore, but we're going to make this other set over here with them.
It's incoherent, and it just kind of seems all over the place. That's not what you want from your mint.
It's like a barn full of rabbits. You just keep getting more rabbits, and you know, it's just you start with 2 and you end with 100.
Sounds like the voice of experience talking there.
I never had a barn full of rabbits, but
well, I know you had a barn, so I was unsure about that.
Not full of rabbits.
Steve, what would you like to see the U.S. Mint do in the future to follow up on and continue the success of the West Point Mint quarters? Yeah. How do you top that one? Because I'll tell you what, those W Mint quarters were spectacular.
It was a great, very successful collaboration and a very successful program to get people to start looking at their change again. I don't care what you do, but more stuff like that. Put stuff out there that there's only a few of.
Would you like to see them continue making the W quarters and releasing them only through circulation still? I
love that way of distribution. Make people look for them. That was awesome. Make people go out and find those coins. Don't just, you know, put them out there to sell them. That doesn't do anybody any good. Actually make people go and find them in their change. They'll start looking at their change. They'll start thinking, oh, that's kind of cool. Maybe they'll see something else in their change that's cool too. And that'll get people collecting again. That's how you build your customer base. Right there, US Mint. Hello. Keep doing stuff like that. Period. Doesn't matter what it is, but make us look at our change.
Yeah, agreed. It had people that hadn't looked at coins and hadn't searched change. I mean, literal current coinage. Yeah, pocket change in years. And it brought them back. And I think that's great.
Right. Or people that used to, you know, hunt coins back when they were kids. They were like, oh, I used to do this when I was a kid. It's just fun. And they picked it up again. Great. Perfect.
And right there is your target customer. Right. Because that's the person that has disposable income.
That's the person that's going to start open their wallet and start buying things from either local shops or the U.S. Mint. And it's good for everybody. But
from a marketing standpoint, you know, you got to think about this, and you have to think about the future, right? You have to create a market for these things going forward. And what you want, ideally, is for kids to collect them. Right. However, you're not necessarily interested in how long they collect them, only that they do collect them. Because these are the people that are going to give it up. They're going to spend it. They're going to do whatever. They're going to chase girls, all the other stuff that people do in their 20s. And then they're going to come back to it in their 30s when they actually have the disposable income to get things done.
What would be really fun is if they just didn't tell us about it and just did it. That'd be
cool. You go. Well, think about it. Some of the most desired coins of at least my lifetime have been ones that they didn't tell us about until after we already received them.
Right.
So, like, for example, the reverse proof. The reverse proof finish on the presidential dollar coins that came in the presidential medal series.
Sure.
They started putting those out.
Wisconsin high and low leafs. Another thing they say. We didn't make that, but I think they did.
Do you?
If I was a guessing man, I'd say that they did that on purpose, but, you know.
Yeah. So I think stuff like that is definitely. Aaron Kaufman writes, what's your favorite pattern, denomination, or design? Would you like to see any recreated on our coinage?
Wait, favorite pattern?
Pattern, denomination, or design. So I think that's one of those three. What is your favorite as far as pattern, denomination, or design?
I mean, is he specifically talking about like pattern coins? Because I do like patterns.
I would think that that's what he's aiming at with this, because, you know, we talk all the time about our favorite coins.
Right.
But what's your favorite pattern?
I really like the Goldoid dollar series, if you've ever seen them. I wish I could get a picture of one in front of you, but just go to Google and type. Let's just all do it together. GOLDOID Goldoid dollar.
GOLOID.
Oh yeah, GOLOID. Sorry, I can't spell tonight.
That's okay. The first metric dollar.
Right, and if you look at that particular design, it's very similar to a Morgan dollar design with the same profile, but I really like the hair. I really like the Liberty. I just think it's actually a much more attractive choice than what they ended up going with on the Morgan dollar. So
she looks like she's unhappy.
Well,
she looks like she's got a frown. I think that it's a mashup of like,
it's like a barber coinage mixed with the Morgan dollar.
Yeah, well, kind of like the V-nickel meets the Morgan dollar.
Right.
You know, because it has that same kind of coronet on it with Liberty, but yeah. Okay, so that's your favorite?
The Goldoids, yeah, I think they're cool. I think they're really cool. I like that bust. So.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't know that I really have a favorite pattern coin. I mean, I really like the half deems. The 1792 half deems, and for all intents and purposes, those are patterns.
Sure.
You know, they weren't really made for production. But I think that one of the things that I took away from the coin shop that I worked in when they closed it was a book on pattern.
Oh, it's great bathroom reading.
Patterns. Absolutely. It's like you just look through it and you see all the different things. It's interesting because you look through it and you're like, that looks like, you know, so it's a bunch of the coins that never were.
Right. They're like Franken coins. If you compare them to the coins they actually ended up making, it's like, oh, this coin looks like a Flying Eagle cent, a 2-cent piece got together and made a baby, and that's kind of cool. But
yeah, I mean, kind of like the Stellas or the patterns for the Walking Liberty half. Those are really, really cool designs, and you see how they played around with like the lettering and things like that to change it around and kind of make it different.
And I think some of those coins actually was what they should have gone with instead of what they ended up going with, but for whatever reason or another, they just didn't decide to. So,
yeah. Jim Fantasia writes again.
All right.
I have, as well as countless other collectors, have invested in Dansko albums over the years, and the company seems to have fallen off the face of the earth in terms of page updates, new albums, no real way of contacting them. Do you know what is going on with them? Are they still in business? Thanks again.
They are in business, and last I heard they were moving, so that might have something to do with it. Maybe they're getting their new operation up and going. I don't know, but I do know that they were moving and that they are still in business.
They're still in business as best I can tell. And, you know, the one thing I'll tell you, Jim, is that the way that people collect has fundamentally changed. And since it has fundamentally changed, not so many people collect in albums anymore. They just don't collect by date and mint marks. Some people still do. Some of, the people that have been doing it for years and years and years have continued. I think that those are the couple of 100,000 that buy mint set.
Right.
Those are the people that that I think are collecting by date and mint mark. And I think that they're buying those coins because they want to fill out their albums.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if they made nothing more than 70 albums forever, I would be okay with that.
Yeah, but I think that they're looking for new answers. I think that they may have gained kind of a bad reputation over the years just from the fact that their albums are made from paper, and that they tend to tone the coins, any silver coins that you put in them, kind of this brownish. It starts out kind of purple and it's okay, but it gets brown and then it gets black really fast. Over the years, they tried to develop Intercept Shield albums and things like this that were more inert. But to be honest with you, I just don't think that they've really solved that problem yet. I think that the most inert holder that you can put coins into are still 2x2s because they're just Mylar, enclosing them.
2x2s or slabs. I think slabs is actually maybe what is going on with that industry. Because so many people now, especially with all these Chinese counterfeits floating around, they're kind of maybe gravitating toward those slabs, and they want to, stick with, like the Eagle pages and, binder pages. So
And you know what I think? I see now there's an opportunity that Dance Code is missing. They should make an album for counterfeit Chinese, make a series of counterfeit Chinese, like Indian Heads,
Right.
counterfeit Eagles. You have to collect one from each year. That would be something really cool to do.
1906 Carson City Statue of Liberty dollar.
Yeah, something like that. I just think that would be cool. A 50-50 album, of all kinds of counterfeit coins.
That's funny. I like that.
There's a million ways to collect.
There are so many coin companies that should have you and me on their board of directors. We would just, I mean, we could help pull all these companies out of the gutter. I swear.
Just go out and have a couple of drinks. And
Right.
then we sit down, start talking. Next thing you know, bam.
Bingo, bango.
Yeah.
U.S.
And
man.
last question, last word this week goes to our boy, Ernesto Aguilar.
All right.
In this day and age, how relevant are coin clubs? Are they still drawing young numismatists?
No, not at all. I don't know if you've been to a coin club lately, Mike. I go occasionally. It's just the same old fellers sitting around, hanging out, patting each other on the back, and looking at coins. There are no kids there.
What do you think is the median age for coin clubs?
Oh, gosh. 60? 65?
See, I think you could do coin clubs and AARP together, and I think that those two would dovetail perfectly.
Right.
To your point, Ernesto, I think that parents are really kind of more guarded with their children and what they allow them to do. That generally coin collecting with children now is something that's handed down from a father or a mother that collects,
Right.
and not generally any other way. That coin clubs historically have been a little bit older, more established collectors.
And I think, and I think that in this day and age, people that are like, your age and even my age and younger, we're pretty tech savvy, and we get a lot of the same interaction that you can get at a coin club on places like Facebook and Coin Talk and all the different coin forums out there. You get that same kind of coin club interaction without actually having to go out to, a library on a Thursday afternoon at 6.
And I actually think that
And
there
you get
is
more and better
knowledge to be
information.
gained
Right.
from the internet, right, than there is from the coin club. It's not a matter of proximity to, who you get your information from. That when you get into some of these coin forums like Coin Talk, you find some people that write books and things like that there. You find people that run podcasts there. You find, people that do all kinds of different things, people that run shops, people that make their living in the business. And it's that, I think, is a safer environment. I think it's something that you definitely see more younger people in it, and because it's more tech savvy, it appeals more to kids.
And that's what they're comfortable with.
Yeah.
So I think if you're
that's part of
looking
the
if you're actually looking to get kids to embrace this hobby, make it digital, man. Make it something they can look up on their phone. That's the way to go.
I think that was part of the reason why you thought about this idea of going podcast. Podcast is something that kids are into. It's something that will draw a younger audience. It's not necessarily going to be, and part of the reason why we do things more the style that we do it, not kind of stuffy and tech oriented and or I should say very rigid, format.
I am not a rigid person, so. So yeah, no, but I think that's exactly right. I think that the coin clubs, while they are great and while I enjoyed going to them, the times that I have gone, it's just not a place that you're going to see a lot of kids having a good time. They don't want to go to an old people meeting. They don't want to get handed a bunch of Werthers, out of warm Werthers out of a guy's pocket for coming to the coin club meeting. It's just, it's just one of those things. It's just in this day and age of technology that it's not. I think there's not much time left for the traditional coin club.
No, and I think that the heyday of the Facebook group and the closed Facebook group and things like that are upon us. I think that is a place where you will find more interaction with people and better knowledge and better sharing of information than any place else.
It's a double-edged sword. You get a lot of people on these Facebook groups that think they have an idea what they're talking about, but they have no idea what they're talking about. And it's pretty evident to the people that do know. But
Yeah.
to the average Joe collector, they could get a lot of bad information. So you got to be kind of careful. But other than that, yeah, I think it's if done correctly, it can definitely be an asset.
I agree. And so that leads us to the coolest thing that walked into Matt's shop. Now, are we going to visit the new video that you did?
No, I told you I was going to save one this time, and I did.
You did?
I did. I totally did. I did make a video.
Because I will tell you
about it.
what, that video that you posted today, that was cool.
That was a cool piece. Those were really cool.
It was a very cool piece.
Just very. I started doing a little research when we got them, and I was like, you know what? These are cool. This guy fought for the Confederacy and
Yeah.
went on to found a town. So I'm going to make a video about this. So if you haven't seen it yet, I put a video out today on Facebook and YouTube about some script we got from the Indian Territory / Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And check it out. It's pretty cool. But the coolest thing that walked in since our last show, Mike, you know what a short snorter is, right?
I do.
So why don't you tell us what a short snorter is?
Short snorters were mostly done during World War II, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
When people started getting ready to go home, that was what they called short time. And when somebody got to be short-timed, what they would do is they would take a dollar bill or some other note out of their pocket. They would pass it amongst their friends, and everybody would autograph it for them to have a little memento to take back that had the different signatures of their buddies.
That's exactly right. And you know, one of the reasons why they had short snorters?
No.
So that if you got together with your buddies later and you couldn't produce the note, you had to buy. So that everybody did one.
The ultimate challenge coin.
Right. So everybody
That's awesome.
made one in their little group. And if you couldn't produce yours when you were together, then it was your turn to buy. So,
I like that.
Yeah. But we bought a really, really cool one. It was on a Hawaii $1 bill. And from the research we have done, and I'll tell you, Evan and I have spent several hours researching this. There are guys on there that were U.S. Navy. There are guys on there that were in the Marine Corps. But the coolest part about this short snorter is whoever this guy was that originally did this note actually used this note to document all the different places in the Pacific that he went. And when he was there, when he left. And he went to a place called Tarawa, if you've never heard of it. Very famous island in the Pacific. There was a very large battle, one of the bloodiest battles of the war for the Marine Corps. And this gentleman was there on the first day of the battle. So he was either involved in the landing via the Navy, or he was a Marine who fought on the island of Tarawa. And then there were several other islands in that island chain there that he visited, either through being in the Navy or the Marine Corps. So it's been something that Evan and I have been researching the heck out of the last couple days, and it's just fun. It's neat.
Any notable signatures on it?
No, and that's the other thing. We're going through trying to figure out who these guys were, what they did, if they made it back. You know, some of these notes were actually done. They wouldn't necessarily do it as they were leaving, but they might do it before they, were going into a battle. When they knew something crazy was getting ready to happen, sometimes they would do this stuff. So it's
they knew that some may not come back, and some most of the time didn't.
The guy on the top of the note, whose note it belonged to, it's a hard name to research. It is Pete Peterson. So Pete Peterson is a hard name to research. Yeah.
Well, because you keep on getting all the famous Pete Petersons and all the other stuff that goes with that.
Well, and in that period, everybody whose name was Peterson, they just called him Pete. That was his nickname. So
it may not even necessarily have been his real name.
Yeah, so it's been fun trying to figure out, some of these signatures and who they were and what they did. And there's, a mark on one of the notes for machinist mate second class, a guy that was in the Navy, and so we're just kind of bouncing around trying to figure out who all these. I think there's about 10 or 12 guys on this note. So we're just trying to figure out, who they are, what they did.
What shape is the note in?
It's not real nice. It was taped to other notes at one point, so it's got some tape on it. Is it what?
It's brown?
It's where the tape was, yeah. But, I mean, the rest of the note's okay. It's pretty heavily circulated, and it's It rode around in a wallet for a while.
It's been through the war and back.
Right,
So,
it went through World War II, and then it survived in the guy's wallet, I'm sure, for years. But
I'm sure.
it's kind of one of those mysteries that we're trying to figure out and just having fun researching it and learning about all the different places, that he went to in that kind of interesting period in U.S. and world history. So,
well, it's cool because, you take something that is already interesting in a Hawaii note.
Right.
And then you take the whole short snorter thing. Now, we did a short snorter on Coin Talk once.
We did.
You were part of that, weren't you?
I think so, yeah.
It took us like 2 years, somewhere around that, to send us to all the different people that wanted to sign it. And we ended up with like 60 or 70 signatures on it. And by the time we were done, we put it up on eBay, we auctioned it, and we gave the money to some charity. I forget what it was. But it was such an interesting experience. And, you're waiting for your chance to get it. And then it's like you're looking at the signatures on it and you're like, okay, where can I put my mark on it? Stuff like that. I just think that's cool.
Right. So, yeah, and again, it's not the most expensive thing in the world, but it's just something that was really cool. And it's been something that has been taking time from Evan and I that could have been spent in better ways, but just having fun, enjoying that particular piece, and in turn enjoying the hobby. So
if there's plenty of time for watching TV later, don't worry about that. So that was a very cool thing.
Yeah, cool thing.
So you've had a plethora of cool things walking into your shop this week.
I've just had time to look at them. So
well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So that's 148, man.
Yeah, I know. We're pushing
amazing.
Up on 150 in a hurry.
So we would like to thank all of the production people that help us, all of the people that inspire us, the people that post our Facebook, to Ernesto Aguilar and to Justin for his input and his help.
Yep.
All the people that have either helped us along, inspired us, patronized us, or in some way made this a better show.
Patron? I'm not sure if that was the right use of that word, but it's okay. Keep going.
Well, patronized?
Become patrons.
Yes. Well, they have. Yeah, they've patronized.
Hey, does my audio sound better? Speaking of patrons, because
you know what? And here's the question we want to ask people: is so tonight we have tried a different thing, and we have Mike in the old setup.
Yep.
And Matt in the new setup.
I have a microphone now, and it's awesome.
Microphony, and a phony at the mic. So give us some input, give us some feedback on which one of us sounds better, whether or not you like it, you hate it, all that other kind of stuff, because it's like we want to continue to make these tweaks and things that'll make this a better show.
Yep. Always trying to do better.
Always trying to do a little bit better. So thank you to Tony and the Tony Alvarez Band for all the music. Thank you to Ernesto for taking care of our Facebook and our Twitter page. You can find us on Twitter at The Coin Show. You can find us on Instagram at The Coin Show. Find us on Facebook. Is it at The Coin Show Podcast?
Let's find out. I don't remember. It is.
And of course, as always, on our website at coinshowradio.com.
It's Facebook/CoinShowRadio.
Coin Show Radio. So for The Coin Show, I'm Mike.
And I'm Matt.
And we'll talk to you next time on The Coin Show.